On a rainy night, a man wears plastic gloves and a plastic suit on his body. His goal is not to stay dry by protecting himself from the rain but rather not leave a clue behind. In a few seconds, a man walks behind his car holding an umbrella and carrying his luggage. The hitman walks out of the car and stabs the man multiple times before putting him inside the car's trunk. The hitman gets back into the driver's seat and removes his suit, revealing his face. The hitman, Hyung-wook, takes a look at his watch and drives away when the time is right. As he leaves, another man appears and drags the dead man's luggage away. The next morning, another young man named Jae-sung considers ending things for himself. He is a failed actor who has no money and nobody loves him, so what good life is? As he is about to do it, his landlady knocks on his door, saying that she has brought some noodles for him. Jae-sung tries to ignore her but he can't resist some food right now. When he opens the door, the landlady starts scolding him for not paying the rent. Of course, she just used noodles as a trick to convince him to open the door. The landlady asks him to pay the rent until tomorrow, or else she will evict him. She also tells him to take a bath because he stinks. The young man shuts the door closed and proceeds with his plan. But then he thinks to himself that he can't die while he is dirty. Maybe he should clean himself first and then die in peace. Jae-sung visits a public sauna and there he meets Hyung, who has also visited the sauna to wash the blood off his watch and off his clothes. But since he is there, he can also take a bath himself. Jae-sung takes a look at his clean and expensive watch and assumes that this man must be rich. Jae-sung starts showering first while Hyung enters the sauna a bit later. In a game of fate, Jae-sung accidentally drops his soap. As Hyung enters the sauna, he steps on the soap and literally flies in the air. Then, he falls to the ground, hits his head, and drops unconscious. The key to his locker slides on the ground and arrives right on Jae-sung's foot. Jae-sung approaches him along with the other men present to check on him. He bends over his body to let the key to his locker next to Hyung, but then he starts having some second thoughts about it. Instead of touching Hyung's key down, Jae-sung gives him his own key, basically switching the keys. When Hyung is taken away, Jae-sung goes to the locker room and opens Hyung's locker. The young man takes full advantage of what he finds in the locker. For starters, he wears Hyung's suit and leaves the public sauna with it. Then, he goes back to meet his landlady and pays all of the rent he owes her. After her, he repays all the people he has borrowed money from. Sitting in Hyung's expensive car, Jae-sung wonders if this is all a dream, and if he is going to wake up soon. In any case, he thinks to himself that this is not the right way to change his life because none of these things belong to him. Jae-sung decides to go to the hospital to give back everything that belongs to Hyung. When he gets there, he hears Hyung speaking his name, but in reality, Hyung is just saying the name he believes is his because the doctors are saying that is his name. As it appears, Hyung is suffering from amnesia. Jae-sung feels awkward about all of this, and he just runs away. When it is time for Hyung to leave the hospital, he realizes he has no money to pay the bill. A female paramedic called Lena takes pity on him and decides to pay his bill in order to keep him out of trouble. Although Hyung has no idea who he is or what he does for a living, he promises Lena that he is going to pay her back. Lena also gives him a ride while she asks him about his name and his age. Hyung has no idea how old he is and takes a look at his papers. According to them, he is just 32 years old. Lena is surprised because he looks a bit older, but that's what the papers say. In the meantime, Jae-sung finds Hyung's apartment and enters the luxurious compartment. The young man is not used to any of this because he has been poor throughout his life. When he enters the apartment, it is even bigger than he had imagined. As he walks around, he finds various uniforms belonging to Hyung. Some of them are military uniforms while some others are police uniforms. At the same time, Lena takes Hyung to his apartment, which is really Jae-sung's apartment, and what they find is a huge mess. Hyung can't even believe how he can live in a house like this. Lena receives a call on her radio about an accident and she has to leave. Hyung does not want her to leave without paying her back, but the paramedic says they can meet up again so Hyung can pay her. Back in the spacious apartment, Jae-sung tries to turn the TV on, but what he sees shocks him. Instead of watching a TV channel, he starts watching a live video of one of his neighbors, Eun-ju, doing some yoga. Meanwhile, Hyung tries to find out more information about himself, and he starts talking to his neighbors in the poor neighborhood. He starts knocking on their doors to ask them questions about himself, but none of them wants to talk to him because they think he is a salesman. Then, he stumbles on a random angry guy in the hallway and starts asking him questions. The man is annoyed and attacks Hyung, but he gets his butt hooped. Hyung instinctively uses his body to protect himself and wonders how he can do this. Later, Lena decides to check on him, but finds him choking on the ground. As it appears, Hyung is trying to smoke a cigarette, but he is having a hard time doing so. Lena wonders if he is really a smoker, while Hyung replies that he assumed so because he found so many cigarettes in this apartment. While she spends some time with him, Lena realizes that Hyung is good with knives, so she takes him to her aunt's restaurant. The aunt does not want to hire him, but Lena asks her to do so as a favor to her. The aunt agrees to hire him eventually, but tells him that he has to change the way he talks. In addition, he should start smiling more because he might scare their customers off otherwise. In Hyung's real apartment, Jae-sung continues inspecting the house, and he finds even more cash lying around along with some expensive wines. But then, he also finds a large collection of weapons, fake IDs, and fake passports. On top of that, he finds a board with several clues on Eun-ju. When he hears some noise on some police radios Hyung has in his apartment, Jae-sung assumes that Hyung is a cop. Most probably, Eun-ju is in a witness protection program and Hyung is in charge of her safety. The young man tries to find out where she lives and knocks on the doors of several apartments. As he is unable to find her, he returns to his own apartment. When he switches the TV on, he sees Eun-ju through the cameras and she is rehearsing something. She pretends to hit herself on her head and falls to the ground. As she rehearses this move, Jae-sung realizes that a noise is coming from the room upstairs, so that must be where the girl is living. Jae-sung knocks on her door and tells her that he is her neighbor. He wants to get friendly with her and tells her that they should greet one another when they meet. But Eun-ju wants to get rid of him and kindly closes the door. In the meantime, Hyung does well in the restaurant where he is working, and his skills make him a good cook. In fact, he starts attracting many new customers because everyone is impressed with the stuff he creates. Lena returns home with him and lets him know that he is going to get paid on the 25th day of each month. Hyung takes a look at his calendar on the wall, but Lena says that right now it is depicting the previous month. When Lena leaves, Hyung turns the calendar page and realizes that he has someplace to be tomorrow. When he goes to that location, he sees a guy running through a list of names and putting everyone into a van. Hyung asks the man where they are going and the latter replies that they are going to work. In reality, these people are actors who are going to the set. Since Hyung has taken Jae-sung's place in life, he is the one who's going to work as an actor. However, he makes many mistakes on the set, and he is kicked out. Elsewhere, Jae-sung is following Eun-ju to make sure she is safe. Eun visits her mother at the hospital and tells her that she is going on a trip. As she walks through the hallways, Eun-ju sees something that scares her and starts walking in the opposite direction. Jae-sung sees her as he also sees a man following her. He recalls this man from Hyung's board and decides to take action, taking Eun-ju to hide her in the parking lot. When they are safe, Jae-sung pretends that he thinks that man was a stalker. At the film set, Hyung gets paid for the day and comes up with the idea to take a look at the details the producer has on him. He finds his supposed father's name and visits him at the barber shop he is running. When he does, the barber is speaking with a client and talking about the real Jae-sung. Hyung misunderstands their interaction and believes they are talking about him, who must be the barber's son. Disappointed at what he hears them saying, he decides to leave. Hyung tells Lena that he found out he was trying to become an actor during his life before the accident. He states that he will become more serious about it, ending up becoming a famous star. Meanwhile, Eun-ju gathers her stuff and walks to the side of the road with her luggage. However, nobody appears. She returns back to her apartment and wonders if she got the date wrong. Maybe she is supposed to be out there the next Thursday. The next day, Hyung starts an intense actor training after making his own plan, and he is soon ready to give it one more shot. At the film set, he is supposed to play the bodyguard of the main character. Nonetheless, he can't stand back when he sees the action unfolding and he gets involved. The director approaches him after he cuts and asks him for his name. Hyung apologizes because he believes he just ruined the scene, but the director actually likes him and wants to use his fighting skills. The next Thursday, Eun-ju is out on the road again, but the person she is waiting for does not appear. When it is time for Hyung to say a line during his next shooting, he has trouble remembering it. As the director tells the cameras to roll, Hyung just speaks 2 words of the sentence he is supposed to say. The director loves the impact of the way Hyung delivers those words, and then has him participate in a fighting scene. Hyung does very well in his series episode soon plays on TV. Several customers in the restaurant see him and they want to take pictures with him. As the days go by, Jae-sung approaches Eun-ju and gradually earns her trust. In reality, the two of them start building a bond and realize that they probably like one another. As for Hyung, he soon attends the shooting of the series' next episode, but the star actor has made a phone call to the film's producer to change the story in a way that favors him. When the episode airs, the customers watch it in the restaurant, and they wonder why the story is unfolding in a weird way. That night, one of the phones in Hyung's real apartment rings, and Jae-sung decides to pick up. The voice on the phone wonders why he picked up, as they have agreed to leave voice messages instead of directly speaking on the phone. In any case, the man on the phone says they have to meet. Jae-sung wears sunglasses and a mask, and attends a meeting with a few men. The men are very careful because they believe this man is a notorious assassin. They inform him that he was supposed to kill Eun-ju on the 25th of the previous month, but the date is a bit overdue. They also tell him that he should hurry up to complete his mission because if Eun-ju turns to the prosecutor, things will become more complicated. At the same time, a powerful man is listening to the conversation. When Jae-sung leaves the meeting, he tells one of his men to follow him so they can learn where Eun-ju is. Jae-sung returns home kind of angry now that he knows Hyung is actually a hitman and not a cop. Hyung is acting for the next episode of the series, while the star actor is jealous of him and hits him on the head for real. Hyung gets up angry, but he still asks if the take was okay. A couple of nights later, Jae-sung follows him around, but Hyung traps him and stops him. Even so, he asks Jae-sung if he is a fan, and gives him an autograph. In his career, Hyung is facing a bit of a struggle as he is not good with love scenes. To deal with this, he asks Lena to kiss him and act with him. Lena tries to make him recall of a moment he felt love in his heart, and Hyung describes a time about a month ago when he went back to the restaurant after shooting his first few scenes. Lena smiled at him and told him that she was worried about him. With that said, the two of them kiss, and Hyung acquires a better understanding of his emotions. Consequently, he is able to act well in the love scene. On Thursday, Eun-ju is out on the street again, but this time Jae-sung decides to approach her. He says that he is a cop who is supposed to watch over her, but he has fallen in love with her for real and he wants them to be together. The rich businessman sees the pictures of them and tells his men to find them and kill both of them. The next day, Hyung has a day off, and he asks Lena and her family to go on a picnic. They have a great day together and Hyung even gazes at the sky while he utters that he likes this life. But that night as they drive back, the heavy rain and a specific song playing on the radio start reminding Hyung of his old life. He recalls he is an assassin while glimpses of the past play out in his head. Hyung goes to see Eun-ju, but Jae-sung believes he is here to kill her, and tries to stop him. However, Hyung overpowers him easily. Despite this, Hyung explains that he is not a real killer, but rather a man who makes both sides happy. When he gets an order to kill somebody, he contacts the victim and informs them about their death contract. Hyung suggests to them that he can help them fake their deaths and guide them into starting a new life. All of the victims agree with him because they know that their other option is death. Hyung did the same thing with Eun-ju. Somebody hired him to kill her because she has a flash drive that a powerful businessman wants to get back. Hyung tells Eun-ju that she needs to leave the country, but she won't do it unless Jae-sung goes with her because he is also in danger now. The young man claims that his life has no significance, but Hyung comments that his barber father might have a different opinion. When he convinces Jae-sung that his life matters, Hyung proclaims that the three of them should die together and take it from there. To make this succeed, they have to give the performance of their lives, or else other killers will go after them and eliminate them without a trace. Hyung has a final talk with Lena to tell her that his memories have returned, and he is leaving. He claims he is not the man she believes he is and he has to leave for her own good. Lena tells him that he is irresponsible and declares that his old life does not interest her. The two of them part ways, but Lena is curious to see where Hyung is going, so she hops in the ambulance and starts following him. Soon, Hyun arrives at the warehouse where everything is going down. Jae-sung appears first with Eun-ju while the businessman and his men are watching. He pretends that he just made the girl fall for him so she could trust him. Then, he pretends to kill her and tosses the flash drive to the bad guys. As one of the ducks to grab it, Hyung appears. The men wonder who he is, but they quickly realize he is one of the other killers they hired. In fact, all the messages they sent to other killers they hired to kill Eun-ju and Jae-sung ended up on some of Hyung's phones. The two supposed killers start fighting, giving an excellent performance. Eventually, they stand on some spots marked with an X, while Eun-ju gets up holding a controller in her hand. But then things go sideways, because Lena appears out of nowhere. Hyung tries to push her away, but she insists on going back to him because she is annoyed with his attitude. Since she is not leaving him alone and she knocks his fake knife out of his hands, Hyung utters to Jae-sung to pull the fake knife stuck on his leg and come at them with it. The young man does exactly that, and Hyung pulls line behind him to receive the hit with the fake knife. Then, he nods at Eun-ju, who presses a button that unleashes a container that lands on them. The bad guys proceed to approach the container, while Hyung is trying to keep Lena silent inside it. He signals to Jae-sung, and the young man unleashes some fake blood under the container. The bad guys buy the trick, believing that all of them are dead. When the bad guys leave, Hyung and the rest come out of the container. Eun-ju and Jae-sung hug, also sharing their first kiss. Hyung follows Lena to her ambulance and reveals to her that he has remembered his real age, which is 45 years old. Lena takes him to a shooting, and Hyung participates in a scene because the director is in a rush to get the episode aired. As it is a love scene, Hyung starts speaking to his co-actor, but in reality, he speaks to Lena. He says that he should leave, but he can't do that because he loves her. Instead, he will stay with her. He will erase his past self and he will continue living as the man she met. Eventually, every piece falls into place. Jae-sung finally becomes an actor too, and he plays parts with Hyung.